In this video, I'm going to talk about an event tracking script we use here at Elementive to monitor a website's user experience. So this is available publicly on our website, and once you have that installed on your website, well, we want to start looking at the event tracking reports. So in Google Analytics, in the sidebar, click on Behavior, Events, Top Events, and then this will load the event report where you can see all the different categories of event that are available. We want to click on user experience as our event category, and then this loads 3 different actions that are tracked with this user experience events. The first one is time recap, scroll recap, and post-click activity. Let's go through each of these one by one. So time recap tells you 2 pieces of information. First, it tells you the active time that people spent on your site, so the time that they were really looking at and engaging with your website, and the total time. So that includes the time that people were actively engaging, but also the time people had your website open in a background tab. So go ahead and click on that event action. This will load the event labels. Now, there's 2 parts to this label, and they're delimited by a pipe. So we can't really work with it in Google Analytics. We need to export this. So go down and select to show all the rows. That way we have all the data that we're exporting. And then above the date over on the right side, we want to export this as an Excel file. And when this opens in Excel, we want to go over to the Dataset 1 tab. Now what we want to be able to do is break these numbers out. So instead of having 5 pipe 5 in the second row, we want to have each 5 in their own column. So to do this, we're going to insert a new column, and then we'll use Excel's text to columns feature where we can say that this information is delimited by, in this case, a pipe, and we want to split that. So once that's done, now in column A, we have the active time, and then in column B, we have the total time. So you can go down and take an average of all of this information, and you can see on average how much active time or how much total time people are spending on a given part of your site. Next up, we have the scroll recap action. So back in Google Analytics, we want to click on Scroll Recap as our event action. Then the label here again has pipe delimited information. So we want to export this. So load all rows, go up above the date, click to export this, and then we want to save this as an Excel file. That'll open it up in Excel. And then on here, we want to insert new columns. And once again, we're going to use the text to columns wizard, and we're going to say that this is delimited by a pipe. And then once that's done, we have all of our information separated into multiple columns. Column A is the active time, column B is the total time, so that's a repeat of what we just saw in the time recap. We then have the max scroll percentage, that's how far people scrolled down the page. We have the time it took people to reach that maximum scroll point, and we have the scroll percent people were at when they exited your website, all of which is really useful information to understand how people are using your website. Last, we want to look at the post-click activity action. So back in Google Analytics, on the user experience event category, under event action, we want to click on post-click activity. And here again, we're going to show all rows. We're going to go above the date and export this as an Excel file. And then in Excel, we want to use the text to columns to separate this information into different columns. The first column here is the active time, column B is the total time, and then column C is the previous page people were on. So where this becomes really helpful is in column C, you can look at all of your different landing pages, and you can say, well, based on this as the landing page, here's how much active time and total time people spent on the next page they went to. So it's a really interesting way to understand your landing pages. We covered a lot in this video in a very short amount of time. If you have any questions about using this UX event script, feel free to reach out to us via email. And if you want to use other ways of tracking your website's user experience and improving your conversions by using event tracking and other analytics, we're always here to help.